during last night's presidential debate, Kamala Harris decided she was going to stand on business about her not wanting to take guns away and said this.
And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away, so stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
Here's the problem with this statement. It's a lie. It says it right on her campaign website that she will ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. And here is Kamala saying it with her own mouth.
We want to ban assault weapons, and they want to ban books. And together, when we win in November, we are finally going to pass universal background checks, red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban. And consider weapons of war. It's just common sense to believe that they have no place on the streets of a civil society.
Keep in mind, she's not talking about some obscure gun that no one owns. When she says assault weapon, she's talking about the AR-15, which is actually a modern sporting rifle and is the most popular rifle bought by civilians in the country. Not people in the military, we're talking regular everyday citizens who want a rifle for the defense. According to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, more than 18.1 million modern sporting rifles were sold in the US between 2011 and 2020, nearly 3 times the sales volume reported over the 21 years from 1990 to 2010. What's even crazier is that she doesn't just want to ban the most popular rifle in the country, she wants to take away the ones people already own.
I do believe that we need to do buybacks, and I'll tell you why. First of all, let's be clear about what assault weapons are. They have been designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. They are weapons of war with no place on the streets of a civil society. I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country. But we still have to deal with the over 2 million assault weapons that are currently in the streets of America. And so a buyback program is a good idea.
For the life of me, I don't understand how this is news to anybody. She's been saying these things out loud for years, but it's like people have lost their hearing because they've been shooting without hearing protection. Stop doing that. Instead, hit the link in my description section and get you a pair of the AKT1 blackouts. Not only will they protect your hearing when you're shooting at the range, but you can also take phone calls and listen to music as well. So grab a pair and stop damaging your hearing so you can actually hear the crazy shit that Kamala Harris says on a daily basis. That said, Kamala bragging about owning a gun is like a KKK member claiming he's not racist because he has a friend whose mother was born in India and a father who was born in Jamaica. Owning a gun doesn't make you pro-Second Amendment, it just makes you a gun owner. Kim Jong-un executed a man for sharing K-pop music, but it's well known that Kim Jong-un watches American sports and plays American video games. Kamala thought telling us she owned a gun gave her some legitimacy. No, it just proved you're an authoritarian hypocrite. This is the same Kamala Harris who bragged about using a huge stick as a prosecutor in San Francisco, where she regularly threatened poor parents with jail time in her efforts to craft social policy, which wasn't her job in the first place. The same Kamala Harris who threw a lot of people in jail to bolster her political fortunes, some of them likely innocent. The same Kamala Harris who, when a pro-life journalist published videos of Planned Parenthood executives nonchalantly discussing the selling of body parts, Harris had his home raided, seized evidence, and then tried to throw him in prison. The same Kamala Harris that when Joe Biden told her she can't unilaterally ban guns because it's unconstitutional, she said this.
Saying there's no constitutional authority to issue that executive order when they say I'm going to eliminate assault weapons, saying you can't do it by executive order any more than Trump can do things when he says he can do it by executive order. Does the vice president have a point there?
Some things you can, many things you can't.
Let's let the senator answer.
Well, I mean, I would just say, hey, Joe, instead of saying no, we can't, let's say yes, we can.
What people need to realize is that when these anti-gun politicians start with, I'm a gun owner and I support the Second Amendment, and then immediately jump to pushing policies that infringe on those same rights, they're just trying to soften the blow. It's a PR move to make themselves seem more moderate than they actually are. But make no mistake, what they want is to ban guns. In the last election, we saw this circus take place in front of us, with every Democrat on the stage trying to outdo each other with extreme anti-gun rhetoric. It was like a game of who can strip your rights the fastest, and Kamala Harris was no different. They thought the political climate was ripe for it, and that the people would just go along with the idea of gun confiscation, buybacks, and whatever else they could come up with. But What they didn't count on was the gun community stepping up and tearing those arguments apart and exposing them for what they really are. We showed how mandatory gun buybacks are nothing more than confiscation in disguise, and how universal background checks will require a national gun registry. And what does a national gun registry lead to? Confiscation. That's not paranoia. That's history repeating itself. Kamala Harris isn't just your typical anti-gun politician. She's got a dictatorial streak. Sure, she might own a gun, but that doesn't make her pro-Second Amendment. She's anti-you having a gun. That's how dictators operate. They want all the control, and then they'll use whatever means necessary to get it. You think she doesn't like guns? I assure you, she probably loves them. Just not in your hands. Let's not pretend Hollywood isn't full of these same type of hypocrites. They'll star in the latest action flick, wielding all kinds of firearms, and then turn around and make commercials calling for bans. And politicians like Kamala eat that hypocrisy for breakfast because it feeds right into their goal of consolidating power. She's not just anti-gun, she's anti-freedom. And if you think that's hyperbole, you haven't been paying attention to her record. Kamala Harris is as close to a wannabe dictator as we've seen, and she's gunning for the top spot. So yeah, maybe she's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but her intentions are clear. Control. Plain and simple. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you, and we're all fighting this culture war together. Now, you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together, we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.